right, guys, welcome back. We're waiting to get underway with game number 3, but we're about at the halfway point for the series, and we have K-pop Toasts here, Lumi. It'd be a shame not to use them. So, Brian, going through these two games, they haven't really been like the climactic epic battle. It's like one team just gets a lead and rolls it from there. Game 2 was a bit closer, but for most of the game, Na'Vi was leading by a decent amount.
Right. I think we saw the strength of Death Prophet in that match. She hasn't had the best win rate since the patch. She's been like 8-16, now 9-16. But Na'Vi is now 3-0 with her, and I think what that shows is that Na'Vi understands how the heroes where the hero's strengths are. And we saw a lot of people think about Death Prophet as an int-based hero. She's not a right clicker. She's kind of an early game hero. But we saw there in that last fight, 40 minutes into the game, her ultimate was still doing work, doing an amazing amount of damage. So it just shows how well Death Prophet can really scale into the late game. And that was out without even any armor reduction. If you get an AC in there, if you get some abilities like some Alchemist AoE armor reduction, those ghosts do even more damage.
Yeah, your Wave of Terror, we've seen quite a few Vengeful Spirit picks. Even a Medallion, which, did they even get one?
No, they didn't.
They never even got a medallion.
I would have liked to see, but...
And you talked about how fast the Roche melted. If you had a medallion for the DP ult with the medallion, you can get like a really easy, almost solo Roche with Death Prophet with a medallion.
Yeah, he literally was soloing it. It was just taking a while. But I guess the other thing is, I think this is where teams haven't played that much against Death Prophet, because as much damage as she does, you maximize your damage output when they're like right next to you.
Yes.
And that was where Alliance took that fight in the river. It was a great RP.
The RP
but
helped
their
them.
whole team was clumping on top of the Death Prophet.
The RP actually helped them. We even saw the weakness of the Na'Vi draft, I think, when Dendi basically was a non-factor throughout the late game when 4 BKB came out. So I was very sure that Alliance were going to take it maybe in 10 more minutes. It's just that the one team fight in the river just decided all.
So anything else that you're finding interesting here, Brian? Looks like our draft has literally just started, but we'll wait a few seconds here to hop into it.
These are kind of interesting picks that we're seeing for people that have maybe just like came out of the woodwork to watch this match because we have a lot of interest in this match. But Na'Vi and Alliance are kind of sticking to their guns for a lot of the things they've done in 6.79. Like I've said, they picked Death Prophet 3 times already. We're seeing a lot of Venomancer, maybe not Venomancer mid. But
yeah, that was kind of a curveball.
Right. These are kind of curveballs, but if you've been watching these teams for the past couple of weeks, this has been what they've been doing. So they're not just pulling these strategies out of a hat. This is things that they've really been working on for the last couple of weeks, and we're showing that even though they're a bit unorthodox, their strategies with them are very refined.
You know, speaking of like new heroes or just sort of unorthodox in the past heroes, where's our Pugna? Haven't seen much Pugna, but Na'Vi's run a safe lane. I haven't seen Alliance run it too much.
Alliance has run it a fair amount mid, or not really mid. I think I don't know if that's. I think the Alliance ran it the other day against Liquid actually, but it's kind of a more situational hero. It's a full. You're going full in push. So it's not really like Death Prophet where you can still win the game 40 minutes in. Pugna becomes kind of irrelevant.
So I think the clockwork might be rubbing off on you. You're getting like blurrier and blurrier. He was like just bleeding more and more profusely as game 1 went on or game 2 went on, but. We still have your audio. So, draft just now starting. Like, if you're either of these teams, is there a certain hero that they need to ban, something that you would like to see them pick that they're not right now? Any adjustments they should be making as we approach the midpoint of the series?
I think what Na'Vi really needs to do is keep up what they're doing now. Keep with the pressure, keep with the aggression, and what they've been doing has been really smart. They're knowing when to take in fights. We were talking about it in the pregame. When Na'Vi does the best against Alliance, when they are aggressive and kind of overextend a little bit, but know when to back off and re-engage and fight and be smart. And they did that very well in game 2. So if they can keep that decision making to the point where they've had it so far this last match, I think that they will continue to do very well. But Alliance, these drafts have been, I think the draft wins have been a huge part too. It's almost like within the international finals, where it was kind of like the games were almost decided at the drafts because it was such a cat and mouse game.
Yeah, and then you had like that one game 5 where it felt like it really could have gone either way, and it was more outplay and mistakes that decided it.
Right. I think we might be going the same way here. I hope we are, because that was an amazing 5-game series.
Yeah, we're excited for it as well. Guys, okay, we can hop into our draft now. Thank you for the pregame discussion, Brian. We'll be having your stats as the game progresses, and very excited to see what you bring to the table there. But game 3 is now underway, Lumi. Let's get into it.
So the one big thing that we see from Na'Vi as they first pick a Lich.
Oh, I don't have my game up. I'm like, wait, why is Kawa not showing the in-game screen? Because I didn't have an in-game screen. Sorry about that, Kawa. But now we're in the game.
So Lich is one of the heroes that Na'Vi ban out quite a bit, and they don't really like to pick up a hero themselves. It's a good like passive hero to get advantage, like denying creeps, getting a little bit more experience. But if you need a raw stun and nuke damage, let's give you only half of that. So also Chain Frost is not very reliable unless you have something like a Chronosphere or a RP. So we'll see if Na'Vi is just picking the Lich by itself, or are they picking it to kind of combo with other heroes.
Yeah, the one place where I think getting a Lich really excels is if you have like a 1v1 matchup that you want to snowball, and then you just park the Lich mid and keep, or whatever that lane is, keep on denying creep. So let's say they put Dendi on like a Storm Spirit, a Templar Assassin, maybe a Puck. If you give him that advantage from the denied creep,
sure,
then he can start the snowball. So I think that's where Lich is really strong. But first picking him, I mean, it just tells you that players value this hero solely for the new sacrifice. The other changes are nice, but ultimately the new sacrifice is the game changer.
I think the new Frost Armor deserve a special mention as well. Sacrifice definitely is the one that makes the lanes in balance, but Frost Armor affecting range hero, we do see a lot more range hero in pro games than melees, and affecting that is a pretty big deal.
And that goes, I think, back largely to that change to the way denies work now, where ranged heroes get the same experience. That was like the big thing melee heroes always had over ranged heroes, but that all changed in 6.79.
I'm actually surprised that actually happened, because I feel like that was never, the imbalance of that was never really an imbalance. It was
ranged
like,
hero.
Yeah, like you should be getting more denies. But obviously lately, melee heroes has been getting more like HP regen, for example. They have the Quelling Blade advantage as opposed to range hero who doesn't actually utilize it as well. So I could see that nerf or buff, depending on how you look at it, making sense.
So Alliance bust out the Batrider, and this is one, if there are stats on him in 6.79, I would love to see him once we finish the draft, because...
Well, let's quickly check.
Well, that's what we got K-Pop Toasters for.
I don't think you communicate with us right now, so...
Yeah, no, you're very impatient. It's okay. But
I need to know now.
Batrider, he's been getting picked a lot less. When he does get picked, it's just later on in the draft. And let's see here. So he's got a 51% win rate and 6.79. That's pretty low for Bat.
In the 6.78, he only got like 52. So looks like the hero wasn't changed.
But the other big thing is you should just not, teams are not picking him nearly as much. So generally, I think with Batriders nowadays, you just kind of, I mean, maybe they can go jungle since Na'Vi have picked Lich and they have been Bounty Hunter. But generally, we do see the Batriders actually taking over a lane, because if the enemy team's leeching your experience, stealing some of that jungle, those jungle camps, then it really slows you down. Plus, the new jungle, if you're on the Radiant side, you have those 3 camps that you can just, the new small camp, the big camp, and then the medium camp, which you can farm, but that takes those away from the supports. And if you try to farm the other 2, then you just have to be praying that you're not getting mud golems.
Yeah.
So it's kind of risky that way. But I'm curious to see who plays this. Is this the S4 Bat? That's what I would guess, but maybe there's a chance Bulldog will handle it.
I've never seen Bulldog play Bat, or maybe like once.
He has, but yeah, it's not normally Bulldog.
It's definitely, again, not one of those heroes that he's very familiar and comfortable with. So I think we are going to see S4 Bat. Puck should be a very good matchup, and to answer a question I posed earlier, is Lich picked by himself as a just sacrifice vehicle, or is it going to be comboed? And so far, it looks like we are going to see some Chain Frost and Dream Coil combo together.
Yeah, decent combination there. We'll have to see if they look to follow it up with any more team fight. There is still a Clockwork in the pool. The Timbersaw got banned out here. The Juggernaut of all heroes actually got the Axe from Na'Vi. That was something I wasn't expecting. But maybe worried about what Alliance did last game, where they just take a fight and then they drop Healing Ward and start taking towers in game 1, I should say. So
yeah, the big difference that I kind of want to point out as the draft is developing is that Na'Vi last game, they did a very good job in terms of selecting who you want to shut down. Obviously, there's 5 guys on the enemy team, and you can't just shut down all 5 guys at once. You have to selectively do so. And I think they focus a lot more on S4. You saw Earthshaker dropping multiple Fissure. Gale kind of just flew out repeatedly at S4. And then they left Loda alone. Normally, you do that against a 1-row player. That's like signing a suicide contract, but he was Mirana, a carry hero that takes a long time to get online, despite getting the Hanamitis. And you saw Loda kind of do split push throughout the entire game. Now, the big difference for Juggernaut is that he could still have a similar start of getting a Hanamitis, but he ramps up much quicker. In game 1, he got an Acceptor and a Midas in, 15, 16 minutes with phase boots. And that's when he joins a fight and just, kills your entire team. So I think that is a reasonable ban in that regards. Because Loda does have a very interesting playstyle that's somewhat different from your standard 1-row players.
Yeah, and well, with no Juggernaut in the pool, there's still plenty of other options this game. Gyrocopter, I mentioned him, he is still available again. Beyond that, though, most of Loda's recent go-tos are off the board, and Na'Vi will go for
I
their
love this.
customary Enigma.
Enigma Lich. Get the double deny.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see the Enigma denying in lanes.
Yeah.
For that first creep wave, sure, but...
Yeah, that means you're going to have 2 creep wave advantage, I guess.
And also, as cute as the double deny is, it's not nearly as effective when the enemy team has heroes, a lot of heroes that can go jungle.
Okay.
Enchantress can, Batrider can.
So it looks like we're going to see Lone Druid as a pickup here.
Bulldog Druid.
So
it's one of these things that it just doesn't really seem to get banned very often nowadays. It's like, because to ban the Lone Druid just really opens up some of those other heroes that I think are more important for Alliance in a lot of ways. Like, Bulldog's Lone Druid is like, they get it. You'll see him, sometimes get 6 slotted at like 30 minutes. It's like, oh my god, he's too good on Bear, but they win their games in a lot of other ways. And I think ultimately Bulldog, he's shown he can play Clockwork, he can play Prophet well. And between the 3 of them, he normally gets something that he's effective on.
Yeah, I think this is a great game to have Lone Druid, simply because there's a ton of burst damage, but not enough to actually pierce through the very high HP of Lone Druid. We're seeing quite a bit of support being picked up. Are we seeing some sort of tri-lane Sanking, or Enigma's going to be your off-lane here? It's quite weird.
It could be
carry Lich.
Enigma's a strong solo in a 1v1 situation. I haven't seen an Enigma versus Lone Druid matchup recently, but I would imagine it's pretty even, if not even Enigma favored, at least for those first few levels. But Enigma's squishy and easily brought down if he gets ganked, and there is an Enchantress, so I don't know. Maybe the Lich is the one who's getting the farm here, and the Enigma just goes to Woods. That's almost where I'm leaning with this.
Yeah, I'm also quite worried for Na'Vi. They have decent nukes. They have Epicenter, Frost, Chain Frost, as well as Dream Coil. That's all nice, but Lone Druid is one of those heroes that's like, yeah, you could throw me your AoE. I have my casual cloak and like a magic stick, and I'm gonna tank everything and kill all of you guys. So. And
2,000 health at like level 11.
Right.
So
I think there's a couple of things in here. Lich, first of all, Frost Armor, a very good way to give you a ton of survivability. To slow the attack speed of that bear is a very key component of surviving. You also, if you ever find Lone Druid by himself, you chain Frost, and that's an easy kill on the actual hero, and maybe even the 300 golden bear as well. That's something there as well. But for the most part, I feel like Navi's really lacking in like physical damage.
Yeah, and this is where we may see. I'm actually thinking it's going to be the Havos Dusa, to be honest, because it has great synergy with a lot of these other heroes.
No, when Stone Gauge, they get maximum magical protection. They don't take any magical damage when they're Stone Gauge, and Epicenter being channeled is nice, but when they don't pop out in the right time, it can get awkward.
You don't use it in combination with like the big AoE damage ults. Right. There's a lot of AoE lockdown here, and they have been running quite a bit of Dusa. Gyro would have been the other like sort of safer and obvious choice, but Navi's not afraid to run Dusa. The other option is to go for something like the Death Prophet again. They could definitely do that here, but I worry about that Death Prophet pick in this particular game, because last game what Alliance did not really have is great split push. This game it's a lot stronger. Familiars and Bear, as well as Batrider to pick off like that one hero who goes to defend. That's a much better lineup to just punish that, let's go Death Ball and win the game at 30 minutes approach that Na'Vi took before.
Also, last game, they didn't have good single target lockdown either, or DPS. Like, you have a Magnus, which was, AoE kind of stuff. So this game, we're going to see Batrider, Enchantress, and a Night Stalker, S4 Special.
So it is going to be a Bulldog Batrider. They're going
No, it's a Bulldog Druid, obviously.
Oh, duh. Yeah, what am I talking about?
So,
Loda Batrider? No, I think this is a Loda Night Stalker. I think it's going to be S4 Bat and then a Bulldog Lone Druid.
That makes sense.
So I've never seen a Loda Stalker. That's interesting.
Yeah. I hope he doesn't get Midas and farm all day with this hero.
No, I don't think we're going to see that. That's just a horrible waste of the hero's potential. But they get a great... Na'Vi go Spectre. Well, the nice thing is they picked 4 heroes who are very strong from like 0 to 25 minutes. And if you do that, that's like the best way to get away with a Spectre pick. Those heroes hang on until Spectre comes online. But they picked the Spectre against what looks to be a very strong pushing lineup, and that can be a problem.
Yeah, Spectre doesn't actually defend the push quite well, but I could see the Wombo combo coming, because Dream Coil, Black Hole with the Chain Frost and Epicenter on top, and then, for the low Z, you haunt as well.
So one of us may lose our voice if we're casting that team fight.
I also feel like a drafter here, S4 I suppose, for Alliance, it's not really respecting the power of Frost Armor, because Funix playing an off-lane role, that means Frost Armor is going to get taken up quite early into the game, and Night Stalker, Bulldog, it's Lone Druid. I mean, all of these heroes gonna get their damage, cut sizably. Now, we've seen in the past when you have things like Aphotic Shield, Purification, all of these heal spell, it doesn't necessarily protect the hero that it goes on. Like, that hero still dies. But what it does is make sure the rest of your team gets tankier, because that first target survives for vastly longer. So I think that's what we're gonna see here in this game.
Yeah, Funnick with the boots first. He may just be that solo offlane Lich, or they may look to give him some support in the lane. We'll have to wait and see, but guys, get ready. Strap yourselves in. It's time for Game 3 of Na'Vi versus the Alliance. This is going to be a best of 5. The series is tied up 1-1. $19,000 in prizes out of the $25,000 total prize pool will be decided and handed out based on the results of today's action. Na'Vi on the Dire side, we'll introduce them first. Kuroki going to be playing your support Sand King. Onto the off lane, semi-farmer Lich will be Funnick. In the middle lane, we have Dendi on the signature Puck, finally getting his hands on one of those true signature heroes. Not a Veno for him this game, it's a playmaking hero. Puppy going to be playing that Enigma and heading towards the jungle, and that may leave Havost. Well, he's going to have a Sand King supporting him, which is a really weak lane, but I think Alliance is going to see that and look to punish it here. They're headed towards top.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure exactly what
is Spectre Sand King going to do against this tri-lane, Lumi?
Not much, I can tell you that. It's so far just a nice guy by himself. Loda going to be piloting that one, but I'm sure the supports will be coming soon in the form of an EGM Visage, as well as an Enchantress who might actually just start out defensive jungling, so they're expecting a fairly weak off-lane duel, and I think they're correct. Aki, by the way, playing that Enchantress. Solo mid, as always, is going to be a Bat Rider. And then last but not least, Admiral Bulldog on his famous Lone Druid.
Wow. So Alliance are going to get the Lone Druid versus Lich matchup, but they double denied this wave. So they did use the Enigma Eidolon's bottom. You mentioned the double deny strat. They won't stay in that lane, but this is really going to hurt Bulldog's Lone Druid. Not just this initial deny, but the constant denies from Funnick. You know, he's known for always winning these 1v1 matchups, and rightfully so, but how hard can you win the lane when you're seeing like a quarter or, 25% less creeps than what you normally do?
Yeah. Well, it's only for the first wave. Funnick's going to get, deny every 30 seconds in, but you got to keep in mind that if the bear is close enough, he also get parts of that experience as well, so.
Yeah, it does delay the Midas timing, though, and I think that's very important to keep in mind.
Yeah.
If Bulldog loves that Midas in the Radiance build, and it's all about the Midas timing for that. Because once you get the Midas, you can go woods a lot more quickly. You can be off the map more when they're ganking you. Before that, you'll be in the lane, and that's where, having that delayed, maybe you die once more, maybe your relic gets delayed. So we'll see.
So the other lane I want to talk about is Loda up top against Havos. When Night Stalker got patched this recent 6.79, a lot of people thought, oh, Night Stalker is going to be your dominant solo mid. I actually think down with the recent change of nighttime, he might be better as we see a dagger flying off. They want to get a kill on EGM.
Really?
I don't think that's going to happen. Just a little bit of token harass.
He is level 1, so I think that's why we see this aggression. Now they go back for Loda. They do have that single point in Desolate, but EGM is about to hit level 2, and as soon as that happens, this lane is not an even matchup any longer. Meanwhile, there will be a smoke gank from Ake. He doesn't have the best creeps here to punish Puppy, but what he can do is shut down Puppy's jungle game. And this is where Enigma really struggles. If he has the full 6 Eidolons, I think he can actually deal with Enchantress somewhat, but when he's only got the 3 initial ones, it's just not enough to deal with these big early game creeps.
Yeah.
And you can see him already just farming Eidolons.
So Night Stalker up top picks up Boosters, no bottle here in this off lane. And yeah, I really think that the laning Night Stalker might actually be fairly good, because you hit nighttime so quickly, and by the time you hit nighttime, you're probably like level 4, where you have 2 Void, 2 Hunter, and Knight, and you just run fast. With any kind of slow and disable coming out from your secondary supports, you get kills. And I think that's what they're looking to do at EGM. Nighttime's in 130.
Ake's been forced off, or Denny's been forced off the middle lane, but Ake, it's a bridge too far for him. He's going to give up the first blood. Well, this is one thing Na'Vi will do. They'll swarm to the point of attack. If you try to punish their jungler, Puppy will get the backup, and Ake just overextending there a bit. I mean, if he was left alone, that would be amazing economic damage and very well worth it, but, that's where it's still daytime. Dendy's off the middle lane. You probably can't be diving, like, over to here.
Yep.
It's one thing to have the skirmish, like, down in this area, but...
So the kill there, the first blood didn't go to Dendi, so it's not like he's going to explode off of that, and S4 is, doing okay in the lane. The one thing I do want to touch on again is the Admiral Bulldog matchup against Lone Druid, or against Lich. Funnick's missing these last hits, which It's excusable on Lich because his animation might not be the best, and it's a hero that you don't perhaps practice much.
And his damage is just... it's pretty bad compared to Bulldog.
64, yeah, but it's horrible compared to Lone Druid. But he's losing the CS quite a bit, the CS war there.
Yeah, I don't expect him... Like, I don't think you win this match with Lich. It's just slow down the Lone Druid Midas, and just basically get your level 6 so you can be useful to the team in fights. And speaking of Lich... We're looking at a Alliance lineup that likes to chase and tower dive. This is where Chain Frost could be very devastating, and he'll have it quickly, assuming he doesn't die to like an Entangle early on. So we may see Night Stalker or Bat Rider start to go for these tower dives, and that's where the quick Lich TP, one of the most potent counter-ganking supports, or int heroes, you could say, in the game.
Yeah, he needs the mana, though, and he's, fairly low because he's spamming those Novas here on Lone Druid, who doesn't really care, it seems like. In fact, he's going for the kill of Bulldog. No one hit Entangle there.
Let me ask you, what do you think about... Oh, top lane, hold that thought. Havost in trouble here. On the run, it's a level 3 Visage, but he's going to have a Soul Assumption. Not quite enough damage. Meanwhile, they're looking to smoke gank bottom lane, so still hold that thought for one more second. They'll go in with the slow. The Stomp's going to come through. Funnick will fall. This is a big kill if Bulldog gets it. And they were like, Bulldog, get the kill already, man. And now he's trapped in by the creeps. He's dropping pretty low here. He does have a salve available. He can salve up from behind the wave. He'll be okay.
I don't think he make a TP in like that. Bulldog's completely fine.
If
there's a next wave coming in. Enchantress gonna go out. He's gonna run straight into Dendi. Dendi out of
like,
mana.
Wait, what are these clowny shenanigans bottom? I want a piece of this action. Double TP. Bulldog, no teleport. He's gonna go down for this. He does get the kill. He does get a root on Puppey. He'll probably get another kill
my
here
goodness.
before falling. The Bulldog root. The luck is strong with this guy.
Meanwhile, Aki pops his heal and just basically walks out of there. So I actually think that Alliance came 4 out. They drew like, what, 3 TPs? They got an extra kill, and now Spectre is awkwardly in the long lane. Yeah, I think Alliance got way ahead there in that awkward, whatever that
Very awkward engagement, though. Yeah. But they did lose their Lone Druid, fairly costly. And actually, I'm thinking more and more not way far ahead, because just noticed he already used his bear resummon, so no bear for 70 seconds.
Also, Enchantress is like getting ganked by a wave of creeps in her own jungle. I'm not sure what's happening there.
I showed that, but I was just thinking about the bear being down for a while. But yeah, it's clowny little engagement, and it all happened because Bulldog thought that Ake was going to take the last hit, and then Ake's like, no, you have it. And then by the time they realized what was going on, it was a bit too late.
Top lane, Kuroki's going to try to burrow himself out of there, but Loda walking fast. There's a dust. There's a kill. And this is what I mean by like the nighttime laning Night Stalker, because you just walk up to heroes, and they're just like, oh, it's nighttime. Oh, wait, it is nighttime. I'm dead. And that's kind of what happened there.
Yeah, and the main thing that is good about the side lane is you'll have support with you, whereas if you go ganking off the middle lane, first of all, it's like you're gone. They know you're missing, so they play more defensively in general, and when it's nighttime. And then secondly, you don't necessarily have the support there, especially if you go wandering off in their jungle. But if you're in the lane and the Visage is there, I feel like that's often the problem you see Night Stalker players have, is they go around trying to make solo plays, but you really need that +1. Get a quick kill and get out, because Na'Vi will otherwise swarm and defend with the TPs. And they go in middle lane. They've got a Chain Frost here. Might have to drop it. They will. No hesitation. They want this S4 kill, and they most certainly get it. But
three ultimates spin, and whatever. You get a kill on S4.
Now that is a very interesting stat there. 42% drop in pick ban rate.
Yeah,
even though the win rate remains the same, I mean,
it's all trends.
Pro players are smart.
I mean,
if they're not picking or banning the heroes much, it's for good reason.
They are smart, but I wouldn't fully agree with that. Sometimes it's all trends. Sometimes a hero just fades in and out for reasons that are unexplained. Pro player would try to explain it, but I don't know.
The inquisitive
No, I heard
moment
it
here
from the R&D, man.
The R&D?
The R&D, we'll talk about later. Kuroki, by the way, is dead. He's dusted, and he's not running from this.
And this is going to be another kill on the Bulldog. Nope. Yeah, actually goes to him. He is your one position here this game. They definitely want that. Mew on the middle lane. S4 dove deep. Got the Havos kill, but he's going to pay for it with his life, along with Ake. Alliance just really forcing these dives, and Na'Vi are always ready to punish it.
I mean, when you're playing Night Stalker Bat Rider matchup, you want to force these dives to buy room and buy time for Admiral Bulldog, which, by the way, did get a tier 1 tower, but these trades are fairly expensive. With that said, though, I think it's still okay for Alliance. Midas up on Bear, tower getting killed by him, and
Spectre not having a good game. 0-1, and 18
Right.
CS. That's the big one. He's really struggling to find farm.
I think Spectre's one of those carries that if you die early game a couple times, she's probably one of the better ones in terms of making a recovery, because she could still come in with Desolate and Han and still be a factor, whereas if you like have a very under-level gyrocopter or something, he just is delegated to keep on farming and nothing else. So it's okay for Na'Vi as well, but you know, I don't think either team's happy with the positioning.
Yeah, the one issue is for Spectre, he really relies on his team to make that comeback, because he doesn't have flash farming abilities like a Gyro, like a Shadow Fiend. He can't just on his own like pull himself up by his bootstraps, but if his team moves around well, then he can, and they'll try to go in top lane. Havos might well get a kill here on EGM. They really want to be giving these kills to him if possible, but they just needed to get it and get out.
And that's exactly what I mean. When a carry hero like Spectre that's down, you can still make plays, and it looks like they're going to go on Loda. Loda, it's daytime here, trying to run out a Black Hole just on the edge, and with the Desolate procs here, they are going to get the kill. Burrow Strike coming in, and it looks like Enigma gets himself a double, because Havos not getting those Desolate procs. The creeps are too close.
Yeah, he still has phase boots. I mean, it's okay for him. And honestly, Enigma will do a lot with that extra gold early on. I want to see what Puppey builds this game. BKB, probably not the best choice. There is the Batrider Lasso to generally just lock you down and deal with you, even if you BKB. And also the roots. But knowing Puppey, he tends to like to go for either BKB or even just like, I've seen him go Vitality Booster before. Occasionally Blink Dagger, but I've not seen him go mech very often. I feel like that'll be your Lich.
Yeah,
Lich,
it
looks like it is Funnick building.
Lich has Buckler. He loves his Vanguard. When Vanguard used to be more of a common item,
yeah.
he likes to play a very, very tanky Enigma and walk straight in.
It's like the Light of Heaven Crystal Maiden. That's kind of how Puppey plays his Enigma.
I would have also suggested a Necro Book, but obviously there is an Enchantress on the map, so that item's utility is somewhat countered by Enchant. So we'll see.
We'll see that. But 1750. Oh, they're going on top lane again onto Havos. The Familiar's not stunning here. Oh, they don't need to apparently, but they do get 2 hero coiled by Dendi. Well, who's trapped 2 is the question.
Yeah, that coil was somewhat of a waste.
That's like you stuff like a Siberian tiger into a cage only to realize that the padlock wasn't put on, and then he breaks out and comes right after you. Loda.
Normally you make that dream coil and the Haunt comes in to bail you out, but you know, Havos just died and doesn't have Haunt.
They do have Epicenter online. They have no Black Hole, but Chain Frost is up as well. Is the mech completed? No, not even close for Funnick. Phase Boots and a Buckler. I mean, it's not bad farm, but it's just going to be a very late mech.
Yeah, I'm also surprised that S4 is smoked up with the rest of the team. He really needs to farm his Blink Dagger. It's like 100, 200 go away. He's going to get it from this mid creep wave, but missing the timing is very, very key. It's also still daytime here, so I think if Na'Vi wants to take a team fight, this is probably the best time doing so. Unfortunately, though, they're down Coil, and if they had Coil there, they get the kill. Here comes Han. What a ballsy play.
Not a good dive for Havos.
Yeah.
He thought he could dagger and get Kuroki in range for a Burrow Strike and then set up the whole team fight, but
if Dendi had,
it was too late.
If Dendi had Coil there, that was a different.
If Dendi had Blink Dagger maybe as well, but does not. Casual Chain Frost bouncing to Ake.
Oh, the orbs! What a play! A snipe.
I only cut the tail end of that, but that's very unusual.
Link initiation here against S4, but S4 is going to get Malefice up. Puppey's going to go down regardless, but S4 is going to go down to the low ground. I think the coil is going to grab him on the tail end, and looks like the orb is going to miss, but then he should have a silence and one more right click. Meanwhile, Loda in the thick of things here against Havos. Havos does have 5 charges on the stick and a stout shield.
Void here, though. They're still chasing. Phase Boots on the Night Stalker.
It's a Daystalker, man. He's got no MS.
I think you could have dived that, honestly. There's 2 heroes dead and gotten the kill and gotten out.
Silenced.
Now when they go in, it's too late. EGM gets picked off. Na'Vi just, these scrappy little engagements working out for them. And the first Batrider unveiling of his Blink, not a good fight. But always with Alliance, this tends to happen when they run for the Bulldog Lone Druid. They'll lose some engagements because he's off AFK farming, but he does have his Midas up. He's had it for a good, like, 4 minutes now. And he's over halfway to his relic.
I mean,
or just about halfway.
I mean, they just had a pretty decent, or not a decent fight, like pretty bad fight, but I wouldn't call them losing. In fact, if you look at the gold graph, they're up by 5,000 gold despite being down by 2 kills. And that's mostly coming from the Lone Druid, the space bot, and the fact that like Na'Vi feels like, oh, we're winning fights, we're doing this and we're doing that, but they're not stopping Druid. And I think Druid is the biggest and most dangerous person on the map right now.
Yeah, you did point out how Na'Vi have a lot of just single target abilities to stun the bear and lock it down, but you got to remember, this team doesn't have a mech yet, and they're going to be dealing with Radiance Burn in about 5 minutes' time. And even once you get mech Mech only does so much for you. It's where you really need just the mech and then some tank items. Puppey picks up an Ogre Club. That's a start. We'll probably see a Vosco drums here. Maybe straight into a Vit Booster, but I feel like there's just no way he can go for straight Diffusal or Yasha. He'll be too squishy if he does that. And, well, then your Puck is still pretty squishy. So, overall, I'm feeling like Na'Vi desperately need to start building tank items. Or just keep on ganking this bear, because the Radiance, if he's left unchecked, is coming very soon.
Yeah, it seems like the way that Alliance is going to play is to out-tank Na'Vi, which seems like a very awkward proposition when you're dealing with so many kind of wombo combo spells, but look at what Loda's getting. He's going from Armlet to a BKB, an Ogre Club already on the courier. You know Lone Drew is going to be tanky. All he needs is like a casual cloak. And the rest of the team will try to stay out of harm's way or just initiating, or maybe even be cannon fodder. This Radiance is going to just take up, and looks like they're going to get a kill on Puppey on the mid lane. Very easy initiation with a blink if they want it, but they're going deeper in the jungle here.
S4 on the prowl. He's got some backup here coming from EGM and the Familiars as Alliance foray through the Na'Vi jungle and look to make some big kills happen. If they get these kills, they get that tier 1 mid, maybe even a tier 2, and that would almost certainly be the Radiance online within like the next 3 minutes or so. He's just about got Relic Gold now. But with the middle lane pushing out from these Eidolons, the gank is rather obvious. Na'Vi not going to be fooled by that one. They saw the Night Stalker top, and they figure either there's a bunch of heroes in our jungle or they're sitting behind Loda top lane. We should not be there. Let's go bottom instead.
Yeah, they're going to just push and make sure that Lone Drew is not getting too much. Lone Drew says, I know the push is coming. I know the gank's coming. I'm going to just go mid. Essentially, Alliance is going to trade a tier 1 mid for a tier 1 bot, and that's Alliance advantage. And then, of course, Lone Drew is getting a step closer and closer to that Radiance on the bear. So
clock's ticking for Na'Vi. I mean, there's going to be, like, so the way this game should develop...
They get tier 2 as well, top lane.
Yeah, the way this game should develop is Alliance gets the Radiance, and then probably for the next 20 to 30 minutes, they will have the much better farming lineup, the overall just bigger damage output lineup. Na'Vi may be able to win a fight with an amazing wombo combo, but it needs to be pretty much picture perfect. If the game goes, you know, to like the 40-50 minute mark, then it could swing the other way just because Spectre starts to come online. But I mean, I'm saying 40-50 because look at Havost. He's got Chainmail. He may just be going for a straight Blade Mail here. Which
I think so.
Just like if you ever have to go this on Spectre as your first real item, that's a very bad sign for your team.
I mean, I don't think
I don't blame it.
Yeah, he needs to fight
could
now.
Get like a Vit Booster maybe.
All right, silence from Dendi as S4 blinked in. What a play! And S4's gonna go down. Hovo says
that was just cocky from S4 as well, because he saw Dendi there.
No, Dendi was invis.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, he just like invis set next to Hovo's because he knew the gank was coming. That was just like a classic like out mind game or whatever you call it.
Okay, I thought he saw Dendi there. I was gonna say I was a little surprised, but Dendi was invis. So yeah, great play from Na'Vi. It's just that's like a perfect bait, really. You know, Bat's gonna be jumping, and he's likely to jump somebody, and well, instant silence is gonna turn that around.
Well, I mean, I think that what they're looking for was a kill on Havos and then maybe a tier 2 push, but suddenly everybody's going back to farming, and that's precious nighttime being wasted. We haven't talked about Night Stalker too much. He's had a decent item progression, but I think the big lead that Alliance is working on is still very much so intact with a goal lead, but you know, again, you give Spectre a little bit of room to farm, and you give these AoE heroes the time to farm their Blink Daggers or whatever, like BKB that Enigma's working on. I think the comeback is possible for Na'Vi.
Yeah, I definitely think they're capable of coming back. They have the harder to execute lineup. They have a lot of big AoE ults that are difficult to land properly. They've got good setup with Burrow Strike and Coil, but still getting a nice Chain Frost, getting a nice Black Hole, not something you can really rely on in any given fight. And certainly not against Alliance, who are a very mobile team. They've got heroes that sit far back like Visage, heroes like Batrider that are normally off the map, and well, they generally just start relying on the combo for now. So let's see if they can get it off. They're going to smoke up. The Radiance is online for Bulldog. And this would be a very bad window for Na'Vi if they don't immediately kill somebody. Here comes your Haunt, though. They're going to start diving. That Desolate damage coming through from the Illusions. Hitting hard, hitting fast. Now the Chain Frost as well. Nice spread. I think Ake might die here, though. The Blade Mail from Avost. Not really doing anything, but still getting the kill. But from the backside comes your Lone Druid Bear. It'll start to come in here on Dendi. Drops the Coil. But again, who's trapped too? Bulldog focusing Dendi. Kurogi coming through. Burrow Strike, Epicenter special. And it's just not going to matter. He's going to melt to the Radiance Bear. Bulldog Bear, strongest team fight ability combo on the map. Dendi on the run. Forget about your big AoE ults. It's all about the Radiant.
Oh, there's no way he's going to blink out of there as well. What a good
Four
start.
heroes dead.
Yeah, it was great play by S4. He knew the Enchantress was going to die, but on the back, when Spectre was running out, he just grabbed the Spectre and multiple TPs came in. And I think really Na'Vi overstretched himself. And the bear came out, and now there's going to be Roshan.
It was a really bad timing window for them. They didn't know Bulldog had gotten Radiance. He had just picked it up like in his own jungle, somewhere around thereabouts. And he just showed up right behind them. So if you don't focus the lone druid right when he's gotten a Radiance, he's going to murder your whole team.
Yeah.
They either burst him or they lose the fight or they run. Those are the only options.
So for the next 6 minutes, they can't take a fight. In fact, I want to say for the next 16 minutes, they can't really take a fight. This is where you turtle and try not to get too out-farmed, which, by the way, they are definitely getting out-farmed. 10,000 gold lead for Alliance. I'm not sure how Na'Vi's going to scrap a win together, but this is looking really bad for them.
Yeah, definitely. Alliance in the driver's seat, I think that's the best way to put it. Not guaranteed to bring it home, but if they make all the right moves, it's their game. Na'Vi have to force mistakes, or Alliance just have to make them. Without it, it's just a game that Na'Vi should not have a very good chance of winning. Maybe I'd say like 10 to 20% chance if Alliance are playing well, which so far they are.
Yeah, I do like to see the fact that Funnick's doing a constant job of keeping Frost Armor on everybody. When you're playing a Lich, when you're in this kind of role, you might as well, because it's practically free and you're not doing much anyways. You're not off farming. I'm not sure exactly how Na'Vi's going to farm back into the game, because obviously Spectre's got Blaymail, and your next biggest, I guess, farmer is Dendi, who's going to get you a Hex maybe. These are not exactly...
Very long way off from a Hex. He's got 1,000 gold.
I don't think Spectre alone could outcarry this team, especially if he's going to get ganked right now.
S4 hanging out in the middle lane, looking to push things in, and well, your familiars are going to clear the creep wave. Alliance, they're prepping for that last outer tower. Only 20 minutes in. This is just what happens when there's a Radiance Bear afoot. And even though they Malefice it, they just can't stop it, so it keeps on stopping that push top. Alliance, they're getting the tier 2 mid, and they're not getting a trade on the side of Na'Vi. It's going from bad to worse here. After this tower falls, your lone druid gets very close to having that completed assault curse. Hyperstone up, sitting on 900 gold. AC should be online by like the 24-minute mark at the rate he's going, and with an AC, with the familiars, and with Enchantress creep, Na'Vi, they'll have to throw everything at this push to stop it.
Funnick wishes he could Frost Armor the tower. That would help, but
that would be pretty cool.
I mean, you could Living Armor it. I don't see the issue.
Oh, are they just going to win the game right now?
I think so.
Na'Vi, they need to initiate here. It's all about Dendi's blink initiation, I feel, because the only way they get off a black hole is with a good coil. There's no way for a puppy to actually get into this fight. He does have BKB available to be purchased. He's TPing back now, but already the tier 3's down. Now their angle into this fight is much more limited. BKB's online.
All right, here we go. They have Haste Rune on both as well. They can maybe make something out of this, but the Burrow Strike's going to miss, and suddenly they're going to go on Kuroki. That's going to free up Black Hole available, but the Sun is going to go on Puppy. Where's the BKB Black Hole? Puppy strutting for it. He gets going to get two, but where's the damage? There's no Epicenter. There's no Chain Frost. The Chain Frost coming out very, very late. They're going to try to burst out Aki, but these are not the heroes that matter. The hero that's mattering is the one that's, well, killing Havos right now.
Yeah, Havos is very tanky, though. They have lost 3, and your Aegis is going to pop. Coming back in a few seconds is the Night Stalker.
Havos.
Oh, he came back for the gem. Greed from Havos. Punished and dead. That's 4 dead.
That's GG.
They used all their big ults. They failed to stop the push, and yeah, Alliance moving on to game 4 here. They will be leading 2-1.
So I think one key area there is obviously missing the Burrow Strike from Kuroki, and also I think Lich didn't have mana for Chain Frost, so like halfway the team fight to over, he megged and it was like, oh, where's my mana? I need to find some mana somewhere. And then the Chain Frost came late. They did kill 2 support, but obviously, and Loda's Aegis, but obviously it was the bear that was doing the most damage.
Yeah, aside from any miscues from Na'Vi, it's just a crushing advantage for Alliance. They had the Aegis there. They have a Night Stalker with Armlet BKB, very hard to bring down. S4 Blink Force, fairly elusive. Bulldog just, they don't even bother with Bulldog. They're like, we're not killing this guy, forget about it. And Ake is a point booster and Treads. You could have an Ogre Club if it was on his hero. They're just, honestly, for a team that relies on just bursting you with a big AoE combo, Alliance are just too tanky, really, to get with that combo.
And that decent Black Hole, that Puppy Fire Off, that's not going to work ever again, because S4 now realized there's a BKB available, so he's going to reserve that lasso just for him if they feel like Puppy's a threat. So I feel like all of the surprises, as well as all of Na'Vi's weapons, are fully revealed, and they just don't think they have enough firepower to clean this game up, especially down 2 racks. And how much gold now? 15, 17,000 gold? The game is not close.
And the fact that Havos went for Blade Mail, I mean, I did feel at the time, and I still think he kind of had to go for a tank item, like a Blade Mail, a Vitality Booster, something to help him beef up a bit. But the problem is when you ever have to go that item on Spectre, like, you're already not going Radiance, and then you're not even going Diffusal Blade or Yasha, so you have fairly weak damage output, and you also just can't farm. That's the biggest problem, so... Not able to farm. I mean, look at the net worth of the Spectre. Half of the Lone Druids. 5, 1, and 4 on Bulldog. 3, 4, and 8 on the Spectre. It's not even an awful game for Avos. It's just a game where he hasn't last hit creeps. And his team is not taking towers.
Maybe I'll give you 22 damage.
Doesn't help your illusions. It's not that great.
No, it's
like a good mid-game Spectre item, but...
I mean, Blade Mail used to be a very popular choice when Spectre actually maxed Dispersion, but if you look at him right now, he doesn't have a Dispersion maxed. Because the builds nowadays are maxing Desolate, which, you know, it's fine.
Which I like. Desolate...
Yeah. But it just doesn't combo well with Blade Mail. Here comes Initiation against Puppey. Yeah, he's not going to be able to activate Big Three from there.
Here comes the Haunt. What's it actually going to accomplish? Now they go on to Kuroki. No detection for him. Havos actually came in on his Haunt there. Oh, I'm a little surprised about that. He's not going to do much. Here comes the Chain Frost, though. Look at it bounce.
Okay.
Look at it go. Coil to fly as well, but they just tank through it. They don't even care. Na'Vi, no match for the might of the Alliance. Once again, Alliance have their number, and once again, they take a game off of them. They are up 2-1 now, 1 game away from becoming your WePlay Season 2 champion.
I think Navi's lineup just took a little bit too long to get online. They really wanted a blink on Kuroki. They really wanted the Black Holes to be there. And I think that one team fight that led to Alliance Roshan really just put the nail on the coffin. Because Navi was down by 7,000, 8,000 gil then. And after losing their fight, they were just down over 10, 12k.
Do you feel this one came down to the draft? Because I did not like the Spectre pick against Lone Druid too much.
Yeah, I didn't like the Spectre too much. Although the Spectre is one of those carriers that give you the early game fights if you need it, and they got it. They also did a decent job stopping Bulldog. The Bulldog.
S4 got slowed down as well.
Yeah, S4 got slowed down as well. I think just that one fight where they fought right when the Radiance came on. I was like, oh, well, that was the game.
If you ever watch Bulldog stream, and he's a pretty silly guy on his stream, but one thing he's always like is like, I'm about to, because he's playing with Shiver, and, you know, people aren't quite as good as him, so, or Cyclops as well, and he'll always be like, all right, guys, we're not losing this game, we're fine. As soon as I get my Radiance, all right, now we go and kill them all. And, like, every game, like clockwork, gets the Radiance, and they kill everyone. Yeah. Now, granted, that's not against Na'Vi, but you say it's the same thing. You get Radiance on Lone Druid, he's the strongest team fight hero in the game.
Yeah, I think much more on Lone Druid, because you see throughout these team fight, all those AoE Hellfire, it just grazed his bare fur. And that's it.
Left him a little singed, but no worse for the wear. Okay, guys, we're going to take a break here. Game 3 in the books. We have maybe one, definitely one, maybe 2 more to go. Who's taking home first place? We'll find out soon. Na'Vi versus Alliance continues after this.